news coming from the Park Place. That's right, Kathy Kennedy ready to retire. But there's a hitch there. There is something that is holding her back. That is right. According to entertainment analyst Chris Gore, she is waiting. She's waiting to retire because she wants to get a big hit under her belt before she goes. That's right. Like I said, this coming from that Park Place. Kathleen Kennedy apparently has something in common with much of the Star Wars fan base. She wants to leave Lucasfilm. Thank you. Let's give her a hand. Oh, man, let's just get out of there, Kathy. You just got to go. Just go. Don't worry about anything. Just get out of here. But according to Film Threats Chris Gore, she's only willing to walk out the door under one condition. Namely, she wants to leave on the heels of a massive critical and commercial success. Now, that's something Lucasfilm hasn't experienced in quite some time. And technically, people would sit there and say, oh, it was the rise of Skywalker, but that is not true at all. While it did have some financial success, critically and even audience-wise, it did not really have much of a success. Since Disney's initial acquisition of Lucasfilm in 2012, the company has been under the direction of Kathy Kennedy. And honestly, since then, it has not gone well. It has not gone well. There was a video I did a few months back explaining how Lucasfilm has yet to be profitable since 2012. There is so much proof that's showing that they just haven't been able to be profitable. Look, you can sit there and say, oh, they've made $3 billion, $4 billion movies, but that's box office. That's not the revenue that they've brought in. On top of how much they spent to make the movies, the marketing, as well as all of the financial failures that have been with the toys and with the market, or not the marketing, but the Galaxy's Edge and what was the Star Cruiser and the hotel and all of that. Everything that's been financial failure has just gone against everything. They have not been able to be successful with Lucasfilm with Kathy Kennedy at the helm. So it makes sense that she wants to be successful. She wants to have one success under her belt before she leaves, right? And she hasn't done that yet. It says, under Kennedy, Star Wars franchise has gone from the most evergreen IP of all time to a sour note punching bag for YouTubers and streamers all over the world. That is right. Kennedy presided over the deeply unpopular Star Wars sequel trilogy, which saw the deconstruction and the eventual death of Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, and while pushing a younger and more diverse cast. Look, the cast could have been good. Finn had so much potential, but they... No, my goodness. She also oversaw Solo, a Star Wars story, which holds the distinction of being the first ever Star Wars film to lose money at the box office. When you couple that with critical and commercial failures on Disney Plus like The Acolyte, Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, and The Book of Boba Fett, it becomes clear that under Kennedy's supervision, Star Wars has fallen a long way from the powerhouse sci-fi franchise it once was. With every failed project and announcement that never ultimately sees the light of day, fans around the world ask a series of unifying questions. When will Kennedy leave Star Wars? When will Disney fire Kennedy? How does Kennedy still have a job? And we've been asking that for so long. And like it says, we sit there and we talk about all of the failed projects that tried to come to fruition and just couldn't. It just couldn't. There were so many. And how many failed relationships with Kennedy and filmmakers? How many times have we seen that happen? Now, according to Film Threats Chris Gore on a recent episode of The Pro Show with WDW Pro, Kathleen Kennedy actually wants to leave Lucasfilm, but only under one very specific circumstance. We've been hearing lately that Kennedy is not very hands-on with Star Wars at this point. Are you hearing anything similar that she may be operating in title only, at least for now? Gore then confirmed that he was hearing similar rumblings before dropping a bit more information. She wants to retire and leave, he said, but she wants to do that on a win. He went on to say that in order to leave, Kathy Kennedy wants a huge success that she can ride into retirement. This could be a smash hit television show or a major box office victory with a theatrical release. In other words, she wants to go out on a high note like George Costanza on Seinfeld. She's waiting to go out on a big win, and she hasn't had one, Gore said. Look, it's not going to happen in the foreseeable future. I mean, let's face it. The Acolyte was garbage, utter garbage. And now we have The Mandalorian and Grogu, which could be good. It could be fine. But that's not going to be a massive hit like everybody thinks it's going to be. Then you have the Rey movie, which to this point shouldn't even be made. We know it shouldn't be made. You have a Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, who is an activist filmmaker, making this movie, who shouldn't be making this movie, making a movie about a character that was part of the most divisive Star Wars to ever Star Wars. Come on now. Besides that, you don't have any other movies that are really announced in the pipeline. Now, sure, D23 is coming up in a few days. Maybe there's some big announcements that we're going to hear there. Unlikely to really tickle anybody's fancy and get anybody really overly excited about Star Wars anymore. The whole Mandoverse that's going on right now, Skeleton Crew, that looks like trash. What else do we got? Nothing. The Mandalorian, the next season, that's going to be okay. That's fine. It's not going to be the massive hit that she needs. And that's not really hers anyways. So what does she have? There's nothing in the foreseeable future. She's not going to get that hit. Look, she needs to just retire. And if she's not willing to just retire, Bob Iger needs to do the difficult thing and just fire her. Lucasfilm is in a terrible place. Star Wars is in a terrible place. Indiana Jones is in a terrible place. Willow failed. Indiana Jones failed. Star Wars is failing. Why is she still there? It makes no sense. We shouldn't be giving her the benefit of the doubt and saying, you know what, we should just let her retire. We should let her go off into the sunset. No, if you were at any other company, we wouldn't let this failure to keep happening. She would be gone. She needs to be gone. And that's what's ridiculous. Sure, she may have had her day in the 80s and 90s, but she doesn't have her day now. And it's time to just let her go. I don't know. What do you think about what Chris Gore said? Do you think it's time for her to go? Do you think we should let her? Do you think Bob Iger should let her get her day and get her victory before she retires? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Hit that like button, hit subscribe. With all that said, I'll catch you all later.